eat babies. That is not bull. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy.
Stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. TD was there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too about the good bishop.
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true.
You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
Is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of elites who preyed on was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is...
What if I told you that someone right now is running for their life because they know too much? What if the names we've seen, the ones splashed across headlines, the ones that made the internet explode, are just a fraction of the truth? And what if the person who has the rest of those names is being hunted as we speak? Jason Lee. You might know him from Hollywood Unlocked, his fearless Instagram blog where he drops bombs the mainstream media won't touch. But right now, Jason isn't just reporting the news. He's allegedly become the story. Word on the street is that Jason Lee is running for his life. Why? Because he claims to have discovered additional names that weren't in the official Epstein files released by the DOJ. Names they don't want you to know about. And if that's true, if Jason really knows which celebrities were on that island doing God knows what, then the question isn't whether he's in danger. The question is, how much time does he have left? For years, Jason has been talking about Epstein long before it was trendy, long before the DOJ finally caved under public pressure and released those files. And when they did, the internet lost its mind. Bill Clinton, Trump, Steve Bannon, Kevin Rudd, Naomi Campbell, Pusha TJZ, names that made your jaw drop, names that made you question everything you thought you knew about power, fame, and influence. But here's the thing they're not telling you. This was just the tip of the iceberg. The files contained emails, photos, videotapes, evidence so damning it confirmed what the victims had been screaming about for years. But it gets darker, much darker. There are claims, disturbing, horrifying claims, that some of these victims didn't just disappear, they were unalived. And why? Some say it was for anti-aging purposes, fluid extraction. I know, it sounds like something out of a horror movie, but we're talking about people with unlimited money and zero accountability. What wouldn't they do to stay young, to stay powerful, to stay untouchable? And speaking of untouchable, let's talk about Chrissy Teigen. She's been presented by some as a primary suspect in all of this. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chrissy, the model, the cookbook author, the Twitter queen. Yes, her. Because old tweets have resurfaced. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. At the time, people laughed them off. Weird humor maybe, edgy jokes. But now people are asking questions. And when you combine that with her multiple cosmetic surgeries, people are connecting dots they wish they could ignore. But here's where it gets even stranger. There's an alleged FBI report floating around about code words, secret language. And if this report is real, hot dog allegedly means boy, pizza means girl, cheese means little girl, pasta means little boy, ice cream, male, walnut, person of color, map, male bodily fluid, sauce, group activities.
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true. In this email to Jeffrey Epstein, it says, all you need is a blood transfusion from the pack and you reverse aging. This is where adrenochrome comes into play. It is a real chemical compound found in the when the body is in a fight or flight situation. And we know that the kids that were involved in Jeffrey Epstein's network were definitely put into fight or flight. And of course, we've seen Hollywood elites like Chrissy Teigen tweet about how they're going to a party where they're serving up 4-year-old cheese pizza with adrenochrome and, of course, the eye emoji. And according to the FBI code words, cheese stands for little girl and pizza stands for girl. Now back to the email. The subject is Dr. Agus, a professor of medicine and biomedical engineering at USC, pretty local to Hollywood. He is also the founding director and CEO of the Ellison Medical Institute. You know, the medical institute funded by Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok. And he's also hosted a Paramount show with big celebs like Ashton Kutcher and Oprah Winfrey. If you know, you
Now go back and read some of those old social media posts with this decoder ring in your mind. Still think it's just edgy humor, and there's this controversial interview where Chrissy allegedly made statements on camera that in hindsight are absolutely chilling.
If the person okayed it, I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of meat.
No. I think the only way
You wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Statements that people brushed off then, but are now being dissected frame by frame. But Chrissy isn't the only household name being dragged into this nightmare. Let's talk about Oprah Winfrey. Yes, Oprah, the billionaire philanthropist, the woman who built an empire on trust and inspiration. Because her all-girls school in South Africa, the one she opened in 2007 with so much fanfare, has been linked to horrifying allegations, kidnappings, newborns found in trash bins. I wish I was making this up. In fact, a dorm matron named Virginia Tiny Makopo was charged with 13 counts of assault. 13. Oprah herself flew to South Africa to apologize. And then, in 2011, there are reports of an infant allegedly found in a student's bag. An infant. What kind of hell was happening behind those gates? Isaac Cappy, before his mysterious death, allegedly claimed that Oprah's school had hidden motives, darker purposes, and then he died. Convenient timing, don't you think? When someone speaks out and then suddenly they're gone, you have to wonder, what did they know?
Oprah is a slave trader. Oprah is a slave trader. Let that sink in. It's 100% true. Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. Why do you think she has that school in South Africa? Why does she hang out with who she hangs out with? Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader.
And who wanted them silenced? Then there's Bill Gates. Yes, the tech billionaire who spent years rebranding himself as a humanitarian. When questioned on national television about his relationship with Epstein, he played it off. Brief relationship, he said. Nothing serious. But the files? The files tell a different story. Photos of Gates with Epstein and young girls. An email allegedly requesting antibiotics for Melinda. And in 2021, Melinda walked away from the marriage with $29.6 billion. $29.6 billion. You don't pay that kind of money in a divorce unless you're hiding something catastrophic. And we can't forget Jay-Z, the rap mogul, the business genius, the man who's built an empire. His name keeps coming up in connection with Epstein, and not just casually. We're talking about alleged business associations with Diddy and R. Kelly. Remember when Jay dropped a whole collaborative album with R. Kelly after the public knew what R. Kelly was? After the accusations, after the victims came forward, and his continued business ties with Diddy, despite everything swirling around him? It makes you wonder what loyalty really costs in Hollywood. Which brings us back to Jason Lee. After not being invited to the Renaissance movie premiere, Beyonce's Big Night, Jason allegedly threatened to release incriminating evidence.
I've done a lot, and I'm not even going to say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go crazy. I'm going to tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now.
Now, Jason had previously worked with Diddy. He hosted a show on Revolt TV. He's been to the parties, those high-profile, heavily secured parties where Beyonce and Jay-Z allegedly attended. Parties where security was so tight, leaks were impossible.
Almost the military to stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. Was there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too about the good bishop. This is what I hate about the internet. If you say it is true, if you think it is true.
Until now, Jason has stated publicly that he's received death threats. He said he's speaking out now in case something happens to him. He's still reporting through Hollywood Unlocked, still covering every Epstein update like his life depends on it. Because maybe it does.
Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this. Do your thing, TikTok. Jay-Z and Beyonce is going to see this. I am exhausted with people calling me about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You've never called for anything else, and I haven't even said anything about you yet. And yet I'm getting all these calls.
And the public is waking up. One commenter said, evil doesn't die. Someone else just continues it. Another pointed out that these celebrities in the files suddenly start speaking out on ICE issues and humanitarian causes for positive press. But they live in gated communities. They don't actually care about you or me. It's damage control. It's reputation management. It's survival. So here's what I want to know. What do you think about these celebrities being exposed? Do you believe Jason Lee is really being targeted? Or is this all just conspiracy theory madness? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to go deeper down this rabbit hole, click on the next video. Because of this story, it's far from over.